up as candidates. Does that mean that Kita doesn't have enough members to pick one of them?
It's because of, in this country, historically and even now, the major political parties will put the candidate. They will choose the candidate. Okay? There's a total lack of involvement in the community level, the grassroots. There's no, until lately, where you have some activist groups promoting certain causes, certain issues, but they themselves don't put candidates. They just enthusiastic, they were very active in making noise, in making demands. But you have to do more than that. You have to carry that activism to the next level. So that's why I like America or in other countries, whether you are the environmentalists, or the Green Party, or the Liberals, or nationalists, communists, whatever, you promote your own party, candidate, your own candidate that can help achieve your. So it is my call for an activism, political activism. And if it so happens that they also want to contact Kita, much so much better. But we are a small party, of course. I mean, there's no, I'm not going to hide that fact. We don't have enough people to represent all these views. Never mind all these views, just to be to represent such a small party or something. But that's not the issue. I mean, Kita, it's not the issue here. The issue is the political transformation that you want. And you cannot achieve that with the candidates that are being offered to you, because they represent only a certain vested interest or certain group that are interested in certain issues. I mean, if you are, for example, PAS, of course, if you are an Islamic party, you want to have an Islamic state, you want an Islamic government, you want Islamic values, then of course you push candidates. So that is what PAS can offer you, nothing more than that. So I think that should be broader. So that's why I think.
Okay. Has any Kita members expressed interest in running?
Oh yes.
Yeah?
But of course we also want to know why you want to run. Some people want to run because they get some 10 days of publicity. We don't want that. We want candidates who can articulate certain policies or certain issues that we consider important. So if someone comes forward and tells me that he wants to talk about education in the country, what should be done, and he has some idea about what the reform should be, then if he's interested to stand, then I'll be interested to support him, because that is what we are lacking. We want someone to talk about things that are important.
Okay. But so what is the process like? So let's just say you have candidate A who wants to join it. So does he come up, submit a nomination via...
No, it's very... this is just an opener, to invite people to come talk to us. Yeah, so it's still a long way from being a candidate, in the sense that, you have to know why you want to stand, as I said, what you hope to achieve, what you want to articulate. Because if you are, for example, if you believe in something that we don't believe in, of course, for example, you believe that ministers should get a contract like Shariza, for example. I don't think you should be our candidate, because I think ministers should get a project like that. Or if you say there is nothing wrong with our education system, or nothing wrong with our many other issues that we don't agree. So it's just an invitation to talk and to come forward and have representatives that can articulate policies that are consistent with what we think the country needs.
So if someone's interested, they contact Kita?
Oh yeah, they contact Kita, they know.
Okay,
yeah.
and then what happens? Do they meet?
Then we will meet up, and or you can give your detail,
right.
That to explain, and you can email us and tell why you're interested. Of course, there are a lot of fellows who will just do it just to make fun of us. So we will of course filter through this application, this process. But we want a process of communication to start by email, and then we can talk to them.
So you'll be meeting them personally as well at a certain point?
Yeah, but if we think that he or she is serious and is credible, yeah, of course.
So there's a committee now in place, or specific people in place to vet his candidates?
We don't even know how many people will come, and so depending, maybe we have someone who will monitor it, and then we'll take a committee to vet who we will have. That's not a problem.
Okay.
I'm not expecting an influx of application because this is something new. I mean, this is not done already. Political party in this country don't open up like this. So this is something this is how I describe.
How many do you hope to get at least?
I don't have targets like we must contest by number of seats. I don't. And like I said when I first started the party, this is a party of ideas. I want people to understand that the ideas that have been in control of this country and the ideas that are so-called reformist ideas that are waiting to take over, they are both not acceptable, or rather it will not be good for the country. So I think this transformation of ideas will take time. So whoever, even if we have one or two fellows who will be candidates, will be one or two. If we have 10, we have 10. And if we have 50, we have 50. So of course my people in Kedah and Sabah, they are a bit more hopeful. They say they will contest 12 in Sabah and Kedah. But I leave it to at the end of the day, you all hope to have as many as possible. How many we actually will feel depends on suitability and our resources.
And will you look at identify the seats beforehand, or will you identify when the candidates?
We will identify the candidates first. We don't believe that seats. We don't go into a particular area because we think that area is easy to win or not. Because I think that is not the right way. The right way is to look at our candidate list. And then when we see the candidate and we think they are suitable, then we'll match with his or her preference. But every candidate has their own idea. And of course we must give a lot of consideration to that, because if you are from Bagadato, I can push him to Intai, for example. I have to respect that he's a so these are the things we can look at.
You said that you expect some people to come in as candidates just to make fun of Kita. Why is that?
Or don't make fun of Kita. I'm saying that a lot of people become candidates. Sometimes just, as you know, there are a lot of fellows who come out as independent. You notice that in the past, not just Kita. So there may be some who will also do that, using Kita, who wants to use Kita, but actually are not serious candidate. So we're not going to do that sort of person. That's what I mean.
What about yourself, there's talk that you're going to contest in PJ, particularly looking at PJ's Safran. Is that a rumor, or is there any truth to it?
Yeah. Well, I think PJ is most probably where I will stand. But I'm not sure exactly which one. I don't think election is so soon, so I don't want to start talking about particular possibilities yet. We will probably make our own assessment where I think it will be most suitable.
Would you be seen as sort of imitating MCLM's MO, because they also sort of opened up to grassroots candidates, getting people to nominate whom they think are suitable?
MCLM, you must remember that it's not a question of imitating, but we are all, I was part of that MCLM as well. I was a member of Malaysian Civil Liberties Society, I was a pro-tem president at that time. So our thinking of probably the same on a lot of things. But MCLM today is not a political party. I am leader of a political party. So There may be similarities in our approaches and the way we think, we think, but we are different.
Compared to Kita right now, and from what I hear, they have a procedure in place as to, okay, if you want to be, you're interested in being a candidate, here's what you do. From what I hear from your side, you don't have the mechanisms in place, concrete mechanisms in place as yet. When do you think you start putting those in place?
But the mechanism, I don't want to tell people what to do. Our evaluation. I mean, I'm not going to say, oh, we're going to, our names, our candidates have been cleared by Pricewaterhouse or something like that. No, I'm not going to do that. First place, I can't afford to pay Pricewaterhouse to do that risk assessment. But we have our own way of determining the suitability. We don't even tell people how to do it.
Also, eat into your candidate, your potential candidate.
Well, we don't know who's going to eat on whose plate, but this is like yesterday we read about people making fun of the third force. The star said, this is the third force is going to probably make no difference, or very little difference. But the fact that they dedicate a lot of space means that they probably think that we're going to make some impact. So, I don't know, I don't see it as taking anybody's territory. It's just that people have different flavor, different choices, and I think democracy is like that. And then, of course, at the right time, you can converge, you can work together, that's how power are shared, that's how coalitions are formed, because different groups converge. If you have something more important that warrant that convergence, that warrant that getting together, so we don't worry about splitting. That's a negative way of looking at it. You must see that which ideas are getting support, or getting attention, or getting traction. And if for example, we realize that we're not getting anywhere, and another group that has got better credibility deserves support, then we may do that. It is possible.
What's your view of the third force?
No, at the moment, I know enough about it, other than what I read in the papers. I see, I wouldn't want to use the word third force. I see a lot of fellows are not happy with BN. And equally, I see a lot of people not happy with Pakatan either. So by deduction, there must be another group that they'll be happy with, but that's not necessarily true either. So I think there is an opportunity. That's all I can say. There is a potential viable alternative. I'm trying to offer that, and I don't even know how much traction. But I can tell you that I'm more optimistic now than say 2 months ago. That yes, people are used to think of us as just trying to split votes, PKR, for example. But they're not. They're not here in the business of splitting people's votes. What do you get? I mean, surely you must give us some credit that we are not in this political struggle just, and our business is to split vote. What do we get? But of course, you see the problem with PKR and the supporters, sometimes they're so insecure with their own struggle that every time somebody comes up, they will say, this is an AMNO plan. Like today, I give an example. I tweet. I said Mustafa Muhammad would be a good MB. And of course, the reaction was some of them, he's an AMNO guy. I mean, there's just no logic in the argument at all. It's not that I'm an AMNO guy, but I know Mustafa. He's a smart guy. He's a hard guy. If AMNO will, he'll be a good MB. But that doesn't mean I'm supporting AMNO. I mean, I'm saying that if AMNO, he will make a good MB. And so people are very emotional about politics in this country. That they don't even understand, or appreciate simple, objective assessment of things. So that is one as an example. So Yes, we are. We are hoping that we can present some good alternative, and then we give it to the people to decide.
You said in the last 2 months you're more optimistic. What has changed? Where did
No, I think it's just that some people probably start as a curiosity. Then they will explain to them a bit more, and then they're prepared to listen. And more people are listening now. So, yeah, I think it's better than 2 months ago. So, depends on how soon the election is. Of course, the longer the better for us, gives a bit more time.
Hence why you tweeted the other day that the election should be in the next six months.
No, I said I would like
to see it, yeah.
You know, I'm just saying that, it's just my own. I think 6 months would be better for us. And it would be better for a lot of people too, because there's so many issues today that people are. And I think with the national feedlot beef scandal, I think it wouldn't be so when they cool things down. So I don't think so. I think we'll probably have a
Going back to Kita, how many members does Kita have today?
Kita is still at the same 2002. Some places there was some additional, some increases, some it's the same. We are not on a membership drive. We don't believe it. We are not a membership-driven party. You can have 3 million members, but with zero ideas, what's the point? You know, so I think we'd rather keep it small and manageable.
How's the situation like in Kita? I mean, since the revolt, so what happened the last time?
No, like I said, there was no revolt even last time. It was just 2 or 3 people making noises, which the press picked up.
Right.
But there was no revolt.
So
It was
internally
just-
nothing was shaken?
Nothing, absolutely nothing. It was just 2 of my staff left, and for some reason they managed to get the newspapers' attention and say all the bad things about me. And that lasted for about 10 days. So, but there was no revolt because it was just, we're a small party. What is there to revolt? You know, I mean, it's not like we've got a gold bullion everybody has, wants to put their hands on. It's nothing. It's just a new party. So that's it. So there was never a revolt. We are fine.
When you start campaigning, or with all your other candidates, what kind of issues, or you personally actually will put across? What kind of issues will you campaign?
We in Kita have 5 minutes, regardless of where. I mean, there will be some local issues. Like if you stand in PJ, you got to talk about Majlis Bandaran PJ, lah. Or you can talk about the flats, about the parking facilities. I'm not talking about local issues. I'm talking about national issues. Now, there are 5 main things that this country needs. And I think this is something that every Kita candidate will fight for. One is, we have to fix the education system. We have to fix it. And what do we do to fix it? We have to go back to the days when we had a good education system. It's not difficult to do. You want to do English medium, you have an English medium school. You have a Malay medium school. You protect the national language in the sense of that most of the subjects you can do it Bahasa, but most of the subjects can be done in English without worrying about, you'll become a traitor to the cause, And I think you have to remove education, all the political influence of trying to make education institution as part of political side. So you have to free them of that. You have to get them good academics, good teachers, promotion of Negara Pelajaran, all this can be done. Teachers will have good teachers. And I think we can reform education system. But you must know what you want to do. And I think this is something that I think is central to this country. If you don't have a good education system, then you have an elite who will, of course, send their children to international school, they will send them to sponsored schools. They can go to university, they can go overseas, but the majority of the people will end up with a poor Tamil school, and even the Chinese vernacular school. Some of them are doing well, some are not, depending on funding. And so we will make it very simple. We will fund also. China is good, you want it. But quality must be assured. Quality must be maintained. And so we're going to have a very liberal education system like we used to have before. Number two, it's about governance. Now, this is something that we always talk about. I mean, if you don't have, you cannot have governance if you have corruption. You cannot have good governance. So, if you want governance, you must have corruption. You must be able to limit corruption. And how do you do that? You have to change the civil service. You have to change the institution. You have to have a multiracial institution. Multiracial. You cannot be backed by race, because the problem with race is, you look at the civil service issue. If someone says, let's reduce the size of the civil service, then you say, this is racist. You know why you say that? Because the civil service is all 98% Malays. But the moment the civil service is not seen as a Malay service, then you can change and cut and paste. So we have to get out of that thing. So therefore, you have to have good governance, you have to have people corruption and racial overtone. You have to make it like we used to have again. You know, we used to have an Indian level chief of staff, we used to have a Chinese chief justice, we used to have Malays who are doing in other sectors as well. We should not be preoccupied with this race. You know? So I think removing corruption and racial stigma or overtone in our policies are fundamental to change. Now, I also would like to emphasize in our manifesto the fact that our security people are insane. I think there's a just too many. I don't know. Too few policemen, too many illegal, I don't know the cause. But there is a feeling that it's law and order, safety is being. I think that has to be managed. You know? I mean, we don't know how many foreigners are there, legal or otherwise. We don't really know. You see. So this has to be addressed. And finally, I think we are going a phase economically, a phase where we cannot be wars. Government must learn how to save. We don't have as much money to do. Our debts are now at 52% of our GDP, 54%. That's very high. Not as high as Greece, but it's very high. And it's quite easy to get higher and higher. Utang negara is just like our utang. It gets more difficult to pay as you get more and more. It's the same. And our utang is climbing very fast. So I think we need to have leaders who are sincere, who don't want to do that. There's enough to manage the country so that it's done properly. So I think if we do all those things, we cut out all those submarines, rocket, tanks, if we cut all that, we can save a lot of money. We cut corruption, we can save a lot of money. So these are the governance issues that I think we have to address.
You mentioned in your press statement when you called for candidates for relations to step up, that you're looking that kita will be able to provide a new kind of political leadership. But what does that mean that you would like to have enough candidates to be able to this time move past, do better than Pakatan and take the 2/3?
No. We are, as I said, political transformation comes in many stages, right? It comes in many stages. The stage of taking over government is the ultimate stage. We are not at that level. We know that. But we would like to be a force to influence those who are in power. We would like even those in power, necessarily, to be dependent on support of parties like ourselves. So we cannot be, we are not a kingmaker. People like to use the word kingmaker. Kingmaker is making deals about how many seats you want and what seat you get. We are not interested in making deals. We're interested that if you want our support, these are the ideas you have to implement. So in that sense, we want to be a source of influence. But I was asked yesterday, the other day by Bernama, you want to be a party in power? I said, of course, every political party wants to be in power. But that to me is, well, what is important to understand? Ultimately, that is the objective. But in the meanwhile, if you can influence policies, if you can influence how electorates think, if you can influence issues that come forth in the election, if you can influence candidates to do and even ministers to do certain things, then I think we are succeeding.
And let's just say that Pakatan takes over Putrajaya in the next election and Anwar Ibrahim is the Prime Minister. How will kita be able to influence policies simply based on history between you and PKR?
If Anwar becomes Prime Minister, good luck to him. But, so I don't worry about who becomes Prime Minister. I will be more interested in what you do when you become Prime Minister.
But do you think PKR, I mean, with the history that you had with PKR, do you think that they'll be able to work with you, on that role?
I think it's not PKR, it's Pakatan.
Okay.
Right? Because I don't think PKR on its own can make anything to form a government. So you're asking me Pakatan, whether I can work with anyone who will do the right thing for the country. Yeah. So, but of course, before I work closely with those who wants to form the government, there are certain policy issues that I need to. So, for example, I'll be interested to know how the new government address some of these issues. Would they, if they are just like Barisan in a different clothes or different sound bites, then I'm not interested. So to me, it's not personality.
Is there anything else you'd like to talk about that's on your mind aside from the discrimination piece, which I will pick up later?
No. I just hope that the intelligentsia, elected people who know what's the problem with the country, people who understand the actual reason why we are like we wants to change. I just hope that they just do nothing. Just do something. You don't have to be a candidate, but you can do something to further this cause, this new politics, I call it. No racial politics, no religious politics, no colonial politics, just simple, there's no what I am. And I think that is what I want to develop. And of course, if I have help, I appreciate it.
Okay. Right.
Thank you.
I don't know.